Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I am Amabel.
and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where things just keep getting better and better. we're having a great
Yeah.
day here on this crappy little island. So let's get to it.
Yes?
That's not what I wanted to do.
You see candles planted on a broken rangefinder. Are you gonna go back to sleep?
The greasy old spring mattress lies in the corner.
No time to rest now.
Yes, anytime. If you need a rest later, it's okay by me.
You don't have to be a hero.
Kim's being very sweet about the fact that you are clearly horribly injured. So much
Yeah.
worse than anybody
The thing
thought.
is,
Yeah.
if I could just sleep for 5 hours and 13 minutes.
I mean, you could try. I can't guarantee that you wouldn't have another dream.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Sift through them.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures, among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories. You find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
The lieutenant inspects a softcover. That's a pretty high conceptualization check.
Yeah. Let's try it.
Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say.
Or
You do
Can't
have a
I?
you do have a conceptual, or you do have a skill point, and this is your thing. Are you dressed
Soft
for it?
covers, serialized fantastique.
Let's see. We have no positive conceptualization right now. All right, stripping back down again. We're right back to it.
okay.
I appreciate that you have developed your own particular idiom.
Yup. If you see any conceptualization,
Yeah, you had at the very least that white shirt. I think that was it.
Well, let me just double check. I'm just put my hat on anyway.
Sure. So is today more of a fuck the world day?
No, it's never. I need to drop this jacket. Is what I need to do.
You should have gotten Kim to wear it. Yeah, so that's what I thought.
Okay.
All right, we do love our gloves. We do love our jacket. You're sort of accumulating a canonical look here. We do not love pants.
Soft covers, serialized fantastique.
Everyone knows you
and
can't
detective
conceptualize
stories.
with pants
Animal
on.
Adventures, a
I
magazine
mean-
for electrical engineering and an international thriller.
You don't have to listen to his
Also,
whole.
light erotica and some historical novels from the century past.
I was gonna say, do you think I'm good at conceptualization?
You personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a game designer.
Okay. When have you ever known me to wear pants?
Okay, it's a compelling point.
You get a skirt for Harry. Oh yeah, this is a better. This is yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly light reading.
Look, Kim, powerful communist theory, rigorous and truthful.
Ooh, yeah. I agree. Humanitarian sciences. It stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Revachol West.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him.
Critical theory books. What do you think this means?
Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here They have some education and a certain set of interests.
Interesting.
A moth-bitten bedsheet keeps the wind out.
Is this
That's
just
I
the
think
book
that's
again?
the books. Oh, a black scarf, army surplus.
All right, well let's try that. Where's the black scarf?
It's too stealthy. Okay, all right.
Okay, got some.
Magnesium, all right. Your favorite. This great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off of it.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
What's on the other side?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
How do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, and then at the lock.
I find just not opening it highly unlikely.
Alright, I retract my statement. It was naive. Let's look around and get it open.
There's a high-pitched knocks on the metal sound. This is some Maxwell Silver Hammer shit.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Run my fingers across the keyboard.
The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
What is this then?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Could this open the blast door?
Possibly. Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. It sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does.
Turn emergency open.
We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator, it didn't look like there was fuel in it. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has something in it.
He looks into the dim light to his right.
Not in agreement.
The console looks on as you talk, mute and unpowered. Its dials are covered in dust.
This hatch is jammed shut.
All right.
A firing slit. You can't see inside. It must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. The distant sound of cargo ships. Signal horns echo on the water. The pain in your pelvis makes you wince, but then you continue. The inside of the fortress. You make out the console and the blast door. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Revachol. An old medicine cabinet newly stocked with dramamine.
Not for long.
And hey, look at that.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
I inspect the mattress.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns.
A good place to hide. Cozy. Relatively safe from the rain.
I inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touch the concrete first.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole in the concrete.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
On the left,
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 33A and 33B.
on the right,
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
between the two.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
There it is.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
Yes, there's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the roof.
I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
He pats you on the back. 3 small pats in a row.
Why didn't we come here before?
Why? We don't go everywhere in the 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
7 people are dead.
Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
He looks north over the fortification, then adds,
I mean, I got some of them drunk with that vodka borscht.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it.
Could the shooter still be here?
Where?
he looks behind his back.
On this island.
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, he feels uncomfortable suddenly.
We should move now.
One more chance to hit the magnesium, huh?
Yeah. I do have the fuel for the generator. Okay.
So it would seem.
4 hours, 57 minutes.
Listen, sometimes it takes a dramatic, perhaps catastrophic event in your life to sort of kickstart the figuring, and then you figure it. And maybe it takes a while, but you get there.
Yeah.
This old cylindrical generator waits with its fuel cap open. Makeshift electrical wiring runs out of its side and across the floor.
I pour fuel into the tank.
The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Alright. Let's go back around.
A dim golden glow.
It's
Yeah.
on. Turn emergency open.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Well, you guys approached with a radio blaring on the boat, but if there was any sort of element of surprise remaining, I do believe it has been lost.
A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
Thank you, Half-White.
No, it's more than that. There's something there, waiting.
Legendary
After
shivers.
What's there?
I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind picks up, then dies down again.
I'm scared.
Don't be. I have a gun.
He takes out his sidearm, checks the barrel, and then holsters it again.
My gun is out of bullets, by the way.
Then it's extra good that mine is not.
Let's go.
Kim, I feel like you could
A
give.
dim golden
You could
glow
spare a bullet,
animates
perhaps.
The console. Faint. The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange. The dial slides under the dusty glass, dark and silent, despite the power being on. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words, failed insula, are written on the band.
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
Okay. Well, I have another skill point.
Indeed. Is there anything else you'd like to kick in here? I mean, that one has a bonus on it. Gain a skill point just by thinking. My guess is you probably have to get that Arnovenite thought internalized to help Egghead with the beat. That's probably what happens there. I don't know that for sure, but
Well, why? I don't think the way this is.
I am
feeling,
also crafting the perfect song, just so everyone's aware.
with this narrative weight. I feel like I'm not going to be able to complete this check, this thought.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll complete this one.
Surprise! You're only halfway through the game.
Revachol's going to turn upside down.
I mean, what if it was a Final Fantasy VI kind of situation, right? That feels like you're coming up on an ending. I think when you're up on the floating continent.
That's true. That's true. I mean, actually,
Spoilers for a 30-year-old video game.
Can I confess something to you?
Yeah.
When you go back to Narsh,
Mm-hmm.
when you've gotten everyone together, you go back to Narsh before she's like actually engaged with the Esper finally, and you're fighting Kefka.
Mm-hmm.
In that the three parties, I thought that was the end the first time I played it.
Sure, I can
I
see
was like,
that.
I was like, whoa, there's so much more game left, and there's an opera. This is great.
What?
It's quiet. A little too
A
quiet.
little too wrath.
I was setting myself up to make that same joke, and you got to it before I did. I love you.
A rubber dinghy. It's deflated and broken. Like your hopes of making that joke. Small white flowers blossom all around you.
Was that from the second movie?
I don't remember. I think so. It's more in tone with the second movie.
Yeah. All right, well, can't go there. Okay. Yeah,
Just
it's
exhausting all your options before going to the place that
yeah.
you're being steered to.
I really like the desolate, isolated. There's a okay. Well, gonna go have a talk with the fire guy, I guess, but Let's just make sure there's nothing else to do first.
I'm sure this won't be significant at all.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
What make a rifle is it exactly?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
A Samuran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
Sinyao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
His gaze turns inwards.
Are you the fire guy?
The what now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire, 2 twins?
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position. Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
Fuel the generator, then use the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
But you didn't say that, Kim.
I did.
We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It is the only world.
Kim has his authority checks in line.
It was not reactionary, it was cool.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
Really loudly, Jesus.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
Yell at him now. Loud.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of not your thing.
Kim?
The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down carelessly, then looks at it lying there.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
What did you say?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
The present.
The present to be afraid and cold.
The old man pulls back the hood of his plastic cape and looks up into the sky. It's blue-gray, the same color as the sea.
Those words the future teaches you.
Real music. Real brilliant cult. That's la Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
Understood.
You don't understand anything.
The old man squints at you, You see 2 black beads gleaming.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
How long you been on this island?
43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
For what?
for reaction to take hold.
Yes. We all have a tiny bourgeois person in us, trying to run away.
He does not seemingly react to what you said. Only his right brow moves a little. He does not believe a police officer is genuinely revolutionary.
I have the hat.
And this was... when?
The lieutenant instinctively looks to his notebook, but does not take it out.
May the 13th, '08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds, storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
He gestures toward it.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
What then?
I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Some kind of great terror, worse than you've ever seen.
Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
What?
That the bourgeois are not human.
I've always suspected the same.
Now is not the time, Lieutenant Yefreto.
The lieutenant says gently.
I had to. I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it.
Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years?
43 years and 10 months.
That's insane.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
He just couldn't.
You couldn't give up.
He nods. But he can now.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects giant letters across the plaza mosaic in dark red government-marked heavy fuel oil. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smelling of petroleum. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you.
For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Girl child revolution.
Always.
I'm afraid she's gone.
The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
We're with the RCM. Let's leave it at that.
Let's. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans le Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
You never signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
If the party had surrendered, then it would not be the party.
Honorable.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Okay. I'll go with the third one. I know you want to tell me, have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
That's true. Historically, you have been. So which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you, and in them a chill, like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull.
What?
All is not as it seems.
Detective.
The lieutenant turns to you with well-disguised impatience. It's getting pretty familiar to you, though, I reckon.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill the colonel, security contractor Cornell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
The fastest death squad took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th.
Oh yes, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes a sudden step toward him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything you got on him. The more, the better.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
The lieutenant softens his voice.
You have been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
another sudden twitch, then one more in his right eye.
Come on, what am I forgetting?
Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Classia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Of course, thank you, Head, thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does.
Officer, a word?
Excuse us for a moment, Mr. Dross.
I think we may have this.
The lieutenant whispers, then gives the suspect a short glance.
Do you think he did it?
From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Gefreiter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later.
How do you think the questioning is going?
Good. We are doing very good. He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is.
What am I missing? What haven't I done?
Well, I can think of one thing. The gun. We should pick it up and discuss it in front of him. Make a show of it.
Okay, let's do this.
Remember, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
There is palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this. A lot. But there's something more, too.
Can I tell you how much I don't like likes him for this?
Yeah. It's verisimilitude, right? It is a real thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a gross piece of phraseology for sure.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Pick up the gun lying in the sand.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burned into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
This uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46.
Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
He says, mostly to the old man.
As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this.
As he said, it's a Triangong made in Sinyo.
Warren. Personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
Stow the gun.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him later.
One more time, Mr. Dross. The Colonel, we need to talk about you killing him.
Pretty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the souls, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
The lieutenant leads in to inspect.
Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Simpler?
Maybe not.
No. This is another loose thread you will never connect.
Goddamn footprints everywhere. I hate them.
The lieutenant raises his brow. What are you doing? He's thinking. We almost got him here. Not now. Stop yourself.
Kim.
People change shoes, detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? Crawling and whirling in rags. What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance? Preparing the scene? Listening in on her?
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silence suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. I show him the gun.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively.
You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. This doesn't feel right to me, actually. But I don't... And I like that I don't really have a way to say, are we sure? Because it's that cop mindset.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
Hold my breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
There, a hot flash of rage almost carries the smile away. Some dark peace.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Amabels everywhere. The world was white. Or what's left of it, anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Truss, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
Some kind of hidden container on the coast? You looked into it?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean,
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
How did you see all this? The bruises that she was beaten?
I'm not blind, am I?
Okay, yeah, let's do this. How does he know these minute details about her body?
He must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
Oh. How'd you get close enough to see her bruises, Mr. Dross?
I have my ways.
A cracked smile appears on his dried white lips.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling rags. Those were your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
But that nook too?
The lieutenant does not let you finish.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his
Those
head.
two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in the hostel now after a good wash. They all think I'm an antisocial, a vagrant. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty then.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points toward the whirling in rags.
Did you have feelings for that woman?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough. Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
One more thing about this woman.
Woman.
He smiles suddenly.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away, but she let us hear first. She figured out someone was watching her from the seafort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lucerne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Look north.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghost of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements, and water, and across it, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible if she didn't squint her eyes.
That's an interesting change from spring air to night air.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
Detest pushes the cobwebs out of his eyes, pushes the melancholy aside. He relishes it.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
He points inland.
Pumped full of steroids and radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
I'll let him finish and I interrupt.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed.
That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
Just not.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. What was that about? Steroids? It piqued your interest. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating.
You mentioned the Union is social democratic. Mr. Clare, a farce of the social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Doesn't Everard run the Union?
That mobster toad couldn't run a shithouse. He has no political education. His twin, Edgar Clare, that one's been to one of those East Revachol universities. He talks a big game about uprising and alienation and so on.
You've talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now and just shakes his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clears asked him to.
Mr. Dross, did you kill the criminal mercenary for the Clares? To incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear, and the thing that gives you the bonus on the check there certainly,
Alright. Well, let's try it.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
Hey,
a sputter from the old man.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
that bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glistened suddenly with hatred.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Claudia.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black logs.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes on the dust.
Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river. The truth.
Why?
Because she was dead.
How come?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit, and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job on a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
You shot her.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is...
Another big spike of rage. Different from the one he has for her.
nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
A sputter again. Nothing more.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Disco whores?
Horse.
Is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard.
I gotta say, communism, failure, and misogyny are not the world's greatest combination.
Not,
And the
not
racist-
exactly unfamiliar bedfellows, though.
True. And the racists on the gates pumped full of steroids?
Yes, steroids. A racist on steroids.
You mean Measurehead, right? What's your opinion on him?
What is my opinion? You think the rich man has an opinion on this idiocy? Is the rich man on the radio telling you his opinion? No. The rich man's looking at real estate and fiddling his kids, wading through the corpses.
Ha, yes, but he was there. Why was he there if you can't have an opinion?
Then why was he there?
Scratching away at the race question. You moral intern monkeys keep the conversation going on Channel 4, helping the rich man conduct his swindle with this inanity. You think the rich man cares about your little race games? He rules the whole world, and he laughs at your moral soliloquies.
He stares into the dead embers.
There's something about the statue on the roundabout. And syphilis?
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Abomination.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because cynical advertising yuppies did a deconstructed version of it.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest, working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
He shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Well, that doesn't sound like the place to be at all.
No, it does. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor.
Just nod.
I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
He whispers with such predatory hunger, it borders on longing.
You'd like to kill him.
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
A treat, better served for later. He's a pleasure delayer.
Save the treat for later.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel
He lets out a wistful sigh.
better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him there lately. Must be down with arthritis. Oh, cunt.
Momentarily, he's worried for him. He reminds him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You try to think of another thing, but no. It's just the hatred.
I'm glad we talked about this. Not so much, but you know, now.
Glad? It's all gone.
He stares into the dust at his feet. Gray and dirty spring grass all around.
Josef Ulyanovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Ellis Courtenaire.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Do you understand, sir?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's not afraid of jail. He's afraid of something else. Like parting from a loved one.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Wait.
First say, does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
There's something you're not getting here that he's realizing.
But what?
Who watches over him there while I come back for you?
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that net picker to watch him?
This is no harmless old man.
The lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
Maybe you're right.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this... us?
Your skin is crawling suddenly.
What?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
I blink.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
The old man looks at the reeds, and then at you.
The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
There is, I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant arthropod. So, where's your head at right now? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
This is what you're thinking about?
I didn't know how much time passed.
Okay.
Hang on.
All
I got 2 skill points.
Yeah.
What would be good for interacting with?
It's a good question.
You know, I'm always helps to shivers.
You do have one slot left in conceptualization.
Okay, yeah.
That feels appropriate.
And maybe I should have some pants on this whole time. I had pants on, and I feel like maybe that's
Maybe that's been inappropriate. Kim is transfixed by the thing, and Harry's quickly putting on pants.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Did you put on pants that have electrochemistry on them, didn't you?
I did.
That's a heck of a coincidence.
Yeah. This is the Insulindian Fansmid.
It is.
The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly so.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
Are you sure you won't scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
He continues to pull the lens open.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
It's afraid. Stop now.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
He has stopped fiddling with the camera, but he does not put it down.
You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick, sudden.
Just listen to me.
Shh. Okay.
The lieutenant puts his finger to his lips and nods.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air, slowly.
Say something to it quietly. Something like, don't be afraid.
Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out, beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning.
I approach carefully. Please don't, please don't screw up this, Jack.
Slowly, with your breath held,
Oh my god.
you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows.
So do you remember that you internalize the thought that makes that changes the critical thresholds? So an 11 is a critical success and a 3 is a critical failure. You rolled the absolute lowest you could roll on that check without blowing it.
Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
I raise my hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. No, stop. Be afraid.
Put my hand down.
The invertebrate comes back to life, stridulating. Sets of complex eyes follow you, moving in tandem on either side of the insect's small head.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
I stand on my tiptoes and look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Tell me, what are you doing?
I exist.
I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
If I tell you, what will happen?
Then I will tell you what it's like for me.
I am ill.
What is your illness?
In my heart. For me is sadness, input after input.
For me, it is not like that. I have states, not emotions. For example, I experience excitement at unexpected sugar rewards. But that is not important. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache.
You're the type of animal I would like to be.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. Why are you asking? This is a good, this is a good choice, these two choices.
Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced the missing antenna.
That's cool.
No, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk.
You don't have a foot there now.
Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again.
Where does this come from, all this around us, the world?
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
Then all we can do is beat our fists against it day after day with no answer?
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
Yeah, all right.
What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it maintain its camouflage.
No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Semenese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Revachol, district of Martinez, March 51.
Are you poisonous?
Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry, it is only destructive over long periods of time.
Are you the miracle?
No, you are the miracle.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. That just kind of surprised me there. That kind of startled me.
It was you, coming from the west, from the whirling. You were coming.
How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Wait, what is the pale?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
I don't have that kind of power.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
I will be extra careful not to blink, stick insect. Don't worry.
Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
Sort of.
I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
Oh. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
I will, Comrade Stick Insect.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay, Kim, take the picture.
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant. Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you. The sweat on your arms feels cold as ice, as if you're frozen as well, in the shadow of this great statue of chitinous marble.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you as a shadow before it.
This is probably the best way to deliver on this, but I do kind of wish I had my jacket on. You know?
Yeah.
Immortalized.
Whisker seems
Familiar. It's like
Yeah.
gently pat it on the eyeball.
carefully pet this scythe-like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. It's about to move. You can sense it.
I pull my hand away.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave by wave from its stupor.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north, with his hand raised to his brow.
You can walk on water.
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Okay, well, first.
Hey, it's the helmet of the armor. And a rifle scope. Neat.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Sir, how could you not see the phasmid?
See.
He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking, like an addict of some terrible substance.
I wave my hand in front of his eyes.
A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Doras?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
What has happened to this
Old
man?
age and shock.
He looks at him, then you.
Old age and shock, yes.
The appearance of the phasmid in conjunction with the stress of the arrest. He spent his entire life here. For him to leave would be...
He shakes his head.
We found something in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the detached scope.
I lost.
You lost it, Mr. Dross?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie phasmid.
The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
I'm gonna let you rest now, Mr. Dross.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
Hang tight.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
So yeah, would you do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, that was... Wait, where is the... It's this way. The phasmid thing was really neat. Big fan of that. The wrap up for the mystery, as it were, is a little unsatisfying, but you know, that's par for the course with this game, right? So, and I really don't like him. Like I don't like the way he talks about women or people.
On the waves.
Sure, yeah.
Let's return to the mainland.
Let's. We are done here.
He says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. Two men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Got another. Okay. I'm getting a bunch of levels now.
I wouldn't obsess about this.
4 hours left. Okay. Well, what if I need another
Look
check?
what the tide brought in.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly, his expression changes and he tilts his head.
What does that say on your back? Piece. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, right.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
I honestly forgot.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement. Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
She says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles.
What is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
What's a shit kid?
You. Shit kid, that's you.
Maybe you've deserved it.
How'd you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
I saved his establishment. No, hang on. Damn you, cafeteria manager. You betrayed me for the last time.
Speaking of which, the giant aerography in front of his building. In red, government marked fuel. Did you do that?
It was this one junior delinquent.
I don't know. It had shit kid written all over it.
You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Yep, that's what happened.
Okay, I had that coming.
Had what coming? Not recognizing people you work with every day. Brain damage.
So Trent Heidelstein turns out to be Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein?
Yes, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I never said I wasn't Trent Heilerstam.
Wait, what was up with that kid then?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
His son? What a joke. Everyone is lying to you.
Okay, Half-Light, calm down.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No problem.
So what are you special consulting here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
You mentioned a task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Yeah, refresh my memory. Who else is in this?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit.
There's you, me, Jude, Tron fucking Idlestown, and Guillaume baby.
He stares at you.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Yeah, first, who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
Okay, so what does the unit do?
Do? It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence.
Where have you been all this time?
Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
I said all those things? I'm not like that anymore.
Sure. You're not a superstar law official. Talk on the town is your Guillaume Le Million reincarnate. I know this shit. Nothing has changed.
None of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Maybe you shouldn't yell at someone who has brain damage.
Yeah, I suppose.
Maybe that's not... Maybe someone's not wholly responsible.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, e-solar, pound, and so on.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Wait, socioeconomically, you think I'm so poor I lost my memory?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory... I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
No, not like that. I'm not talking verreden for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
You got so poor you couldn't pay attention.
Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying. Or insane. Or both.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case. The other when we looked into that mural.
So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures toward the scenery.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Line detective is good for now. Actually, no. Just what now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Yeah.
I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip.
I mean, that should not be the case. This is, again, capitalism is the problem here. That's not normal. Actually, it's okay if I do a PSA that's kind of unrelated.
No.
They can't take things out of your wages. That's not allowed.
Sweetie, I love you, but this is a time for momentum.
It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
Got my badge right here.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
I'll try to catch it.
Okay,
Nope.
well, neither interfacing nor hand-eye coordination.
You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground some 2 meters away. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid thing. Damn it.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
The man stares at you, unimpressed.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements. Gun. Yeah, you don't have that. Maybe you can philosophize your way out of it.
I have a new gun now.
I don't care if you have a new gun. I only care about your old gun. Your official sidearm. You lost it, didn't you?
Don't have that. I don't have the sidearm.
I knew it. I told you you wouldn't have it.
This isn't cause for celebration. It's bad.
I would say it's very bad, yes. You're drunk like an asshole, Harry. Please put the stolen firearm away before you kill someone.
I'm not drunk. I haven't started drinking again.
So you forgot to drink? I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then?
I mean, I don't think I've showered.
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do have the option of saying, yeah, I haven't washed. Like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a bit of a... Hold on, I just haven't washed myself after the autopsy.
Without a reply, the satellite officer covers his nose.
None of this matters. My odor situation is meaningless compared to what I've discovered.
What you've discovered? You let the suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuragis. We know.
Okay. Not taking her in was the right thing to do. She gave a vital clue that led us to the island.
Oh, well. If she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect. The one who shot herself. In the head. Or the fact that you very likely sold your gun for booze. That's peanuts. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 9 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot, not once, but twice. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
I also solved the case. It's solved, all of it.
Detective, it's better if I do that.
He says in a lowered voice.
It's so much better if he does this. 1,000,000 times better.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffretor Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He says disco about 20 times a day.
Oh, who
It's
doesn't?
worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd.
You should yell something.
That's not a good idea.
Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. And he solved it, near perfectly. In 1 week we have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator. Locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
So you see, I'm a pretty okay detective, an absolutely giant communist. I'm gonna say nothing though. It seems like that's better right now. Just let him talk.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
Kim, yes, the phasmid may have contributed to his mental state in some way over the years.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
Okay. The previous head of the Drebadors Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martinez, where Evrard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
The lieutenant lowers his voice, just a little.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
The killer, Lilianovich Strauss, we have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
A revolutionary matronym?
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He killed the mercenary in an act of jealousy.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Okay, I actually don't like any of these
Yeah.
answers. I did all I could. Every second was a struggle.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work. In bouts. Bouts don't last. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something.
Again,
It will pass in time.
we haven't washed
We haven't
since the drink out. Like, it probably if we just got in the shower.
There was also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person I found.
Yes, yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How did you know I found him?
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
I don't think talking about the nightclub is going to help.
I don't think they're gonna be impressed
Or
by
the
that.
Phasmid. So what do you say? Want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Wait, I have a few questions before we go about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently.
Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Some chick. Who?
Dora something. Dora England. Yeah, you mentioned her name.
Wait, Dora Ingerland?
Something like that. Half Vazan.
We weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
Okay. That's some world building, I guess. When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years.
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora England really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
No, I meant
Sean-
did she do?
She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin. Pain Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
I guess that makes sense.
Lieutenant Kusaragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Distant traffic. A scrap of newspaper drifts by, carried by the wind.
Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I meant investigate. Come work in Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He returns her
He's
smile.
really considering it.
I'm ready.
Good.
She looks at you, then Vikmar.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Under the afternoon sky, the great district hums. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street, forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmer? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
So hey, that's it. You did it.
Did that.
You got to the end of Disco Elysium. You survived. So
What an incredible thing.
here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that we should do an episode at some point in the future, maybe like a week. Just give it some time, think about it, and we'll have like a little bit more of a thorough conversation about it, because like, I'm sure a lot of stuff is still sinking in and whatnot. But while the credits are playing out here, where are you at right now with this? What do you think? You want to give us your sort of your thoughts while they're still fresh?
I mean, it's an incredible piece of work. It has so many different parts to it, and I really like the bug thing is really fresh in my memory right now. Like, that was really so lovely and so moving and so beautiful, and there's such, I won't say there's such tenderness to this whole thing, but of course there's a thing where there's a lot of ugliness in it.
Yeah.
But it's a thing that's beautiful and aching and human, and like there's so much pain, and it understands pain. I feel like the people who wrote this, who made this, they went through some shit in their lives. You know, and it's an incredible thing, and I'm so excited to find out what your playthrough was like.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. We can finally look into that a little bit. I'm going to be almost as surprised as you are.
And I'm sorry for like interrupting the momentum.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to. I did a lot of like trying to be playfully adversarial here, and I am worried that sometimes it came across as just adversarial.
No, for me it was playful.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, I will say that, like,
hold on a second. I'm just gonna nudge the volume down on this, because there we go.
Yeah,
I'm audible over it, but I want to make sure you're audible over it.
Yeah, I understand the making sure that I recognize that I've seen all these people. I talked to everyone that they're mentioning. I was gonna say that Virgil, Texas, that the very ending, like the stuff with his old unit, like it covered a lot of like plot stuff, but that didn't have the same resonance for me that like it could have ended with them leaving after the bug, and that would have been a fine ending for me.
Yeah, I think it is hard to believe that. I don't know. So the thing is, I don't actually know if it's possible for that thing to end with you not getting taken back onto the Force.
Okay.
Maybe it is. Maybe this is one of those things where they're like, you know, they're giving you an outcome that is based on your decisions, and so there is some utility to it. It feels to me like an extra scene. I agree with you. I think the game really ends when you get in the boat. But yeah, you know what? We'll look into it. Now that we've both played the game, I think we can look some stuff up. We could figure some things out. Even if it is the case that you could, I don't know. I do think you're right. The game ends when you get in that boat.
Yeah.
But there are just sort of certain ways that things are done in video games. Like, that definitely feels like a video game scene to me at the end, where it like it's like the trial in Chrono Trigger, where it like recounts your these are the good cop things I did, and here's where I was not good at copping, and how does which thing is heavier? Like Anubis weighing your heart.
Yeah. You know what I didn't see?
What's that?
Because when we started, I told you there were like 3 things I knew about this.
Yeah.
One was the chair. One was that people ship Kim with the guy.
Yeah.
And one was that capitalism has the ability to subsume all critique into itself.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that line during the whole playthrough. I don't even know who says it.
Oh, I don't know if that's a line of dialogue from this thing. I mean, that's just a thing that's true.
I mean, it's the thing that's true.
It's
but
certainly an argument that that the game makes.
But I've seen it. I've seen it as a meme, as like a bit of dialogue from this.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that going around that is doctored.
Oh my god, I've been lied to by the internet.
It's possible. I mean, it might have been a thing that is in. You did not talk to Joyce very much. There is a very long and extremely productive conversation with Joyce that I had that you did not have, where she explains an awful lot of things about the world to you, and especially where she explains the Pale, which is a thing that you never really got any meaningful information about.
No, I mean, I did try to talk to Joyce a lot the first couple days, but like the second day she didn't give me any new information, and I kind of never came back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that. My guess is that it would probably be a Joyce thing. It sounds like a Joyce thing.
Okay.
Joyce, the thing about Joyce is she projects, I think, as a person who's like pretty unblinkered. She has picked the side of capital because the side of capital is the winning side. But she's not like, she doesn't seem, I don't know. There are a lot of people who are liberals because that's the environment they grew up in, right? And it's sort of unexamined in the same way there are a lot of people who are like kind of Christians because they were raised by Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce does not seem like one of those people. Joyce seems like she has done the math on everything. She understands the world pretty well. And she's where she is because she likes winning. And so I could see her saying something like that because she's like, yeah, listen, this is one of the strengths of the thing I picked. Well, I mean, I see how it's worse morally.
Oh, no, see, that's I was doing a meme back at her.
Yeah. You're not doing anything at her. I'm not. She's not here. Listen, you and I are on the same team on all this stuff.
I know this. I mean, yes, I know because. I mean, yeah, you are so rad.
Thank you, sweetie.
I want you to know that. I want everyone to know how rad you are, and like, I love you with my whole heart, and I love your politics with my whole heart. And
I love you too. This is maybe not the venue. You know, we're sort of talking about a piece of art here.
Yeah, we're talking about a piece of art that is like aggressively political.
Sure, absolutely.
And is also political, like, I mean, I would call this like anti-capitalist, but also realizing like what it is to have failed to overthrow capitalism. You know,
yeah.
The stink of failure in this game is so potent, and how it poisons people.
Yeah, again, like as I mentioned at some point during this session, I don't remember which episode it was in. It really does feel like you're walking around in the corpse of this, not just this place, but like you're walking around in the corpse of this moment, the moment of the revolution, and that is to walk around in the corpse of the failure of communism, right? The failure of communism to overcome. And you see the way that's like, and making the ultimate villain of the piece. Well, not making the killer the last villain. Ultimate in the sense that he's the last one you talk to. Making the ultimate villain of the piece a hardcore communard who has been just like completely twisted up and overcome with hate by the failure of the revolution and by the things that the capitalists did to the revolutionaries. I think it's a really interesting and poignant way to end a game that is pretty communist, a game that is definitely agrees with his politics probably more than the politics of any other character in the thing. But there's such a danger to just like living in the world right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting for them to use the last bit of their story as this sort of like this paired, like this cautionary tale and this warning, but also this reminder that like if you don't blind yourself, like there is still beauty. Something beautiful is still going to happen. And it's maybe not a thing that you would have expected, and it's maybe not a thing you could have predicted, and it's maybe a thing that you're not going to have any power over, but the world is not a dead end, or it doesn't have to be. You can make it that, but it doesn't have to be. Even after everything, even with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. There's going to be one more. We're going to do one more episode where we just like talk about some stuff, where we have a little conversation at some point in the not too distant future. So come back then for that. And next time for something else, maybe something a tiny bit lighter. And we'll see you then.